Yes.
So hi Andy.
Hello.
So I'd like to know who is Andy Ojodeh?
Who is Andy Ojodeh?
Yes.
Andy Ojodeh is just like any other person in Kenya. Only that I've, by God's grace, committed my life to serving God. And I mean, I can give a brief background. My background is in supply chain. I did this in England, when I was in England, where I did both my undergraduate and master's degree. So obviously I was charting my way up the corporate ladder, or whatever, you know, the Lord was choosing to lead. So yeah, I would say I'm averagely educated, a young person, but with different ambitions. Yeah, different ambitions. Yes.
So do you still work in supply?
Okay, so now in 2013, that's when I actually did my master's degree, and I came back to Kenya and I got a job in a leading logistics company, and by God's grace, I raised up the ranks to become one of the managers in the institution. So things were going very well, as we would say, in terms of material things, or in terms of career-wise, things were going very well. I loved my job, and I resigned from it. Yes,
Why?
yes, I resigned from it.
Why?
Okay. Now, I worked in that institution for about a year and a half, and I was doing a lot of reading. And when I say reading, more of spiritual reading. And when I say spiritual reading, I was reading more of the Bible. By the time I left university, I had become at least more grounded in God's Word, and I was learning more on doing mission work. And when I say mission work, because it's a very relative term, I didn't feel content in the work I was doing. And the more I read and the more I continued in that job, I felt as if there is more I can do in my life for God. And as I started reading more, I came to meet different people. People are in mission work as well. And I came to learn about an institution called Wildwood. Now, what Wildwood is, it's what we call a lifestyle center with a school branch that teaches students how to win souls, basically. But they teach you a lot of practical things, such as something called health evangelism, where you have a knowledge of physiology and anatomy, where you have the knowledge of hydrotherapy, that is using water for treatments, using herbs, cooking, a lot of things that
Practical.
exactly, a lot of practical hand, exactly, and that's one thing I realized I lacked. I had a degree, I had a master's degree, but doing practical things, I couldn't do that. So I had this desire to learn how to be practical. Actually, even after I came back from school, I even bought, I would buy a saw, I bought a lathe, these things to try and teach. Exactly.
Yeah. What skills?
Yeah. So I prayed, and I consulted my mother as well. And I told her, Mom, I want to go to mission school. And so she asked me, do you have a plan? What, you want to leave your job and just go do mission? I was like, yeah. So she's like, do you have a plan of what you want to do? I said, yes. I explained my plan, and it was very short-sighted then. She said, okay, you can go. So I left my job. It was a very good job. I had very good bosses. In case they watch this, they were very good bosses. Very good boss. They gave me Sabbath off, so that was a blessing. And I went to Wildwood, which is in Georgia, 2 hours from Atlanta. So this school was set up in the, I believe, 1940s with the sole purpose of training young men and women to be workers for God. And using now the angle of health. And our focus, not that we become doctors, but we learn how to prevent diseases using lifestyle choices, simple lifestyle choices. So it was a wonderful experience, and that's where I met Lou Keith, who's actually with us here, wherever we are now. And yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So now that you've mentioned it,
Yes.
where are we?
So right now we are in Kakuma, which is in Turkana County. We are doing some health classes with friends who've been interviewed as well by you. And these friends of mine, I actually approached them this year and last year. And I told them, you know, guys, we need to go to Kakuma to teach Bible classes and health classes. And some of them didn't take it seriously until I made the schedule and gave budgets. And that's when they started taking it seriously. And we've been here for 2 weeks. Today was our last day of teaching. And it's been such a humbling and a wonderful blessing. Something I'll never forget in my life.
I'd want to ask about your team members.
All right.
Like, how did you get to choose your members?
Okay, so 2 of them I've been working with in ministry. That's Kaleche, she's a pharmacist who actually left her job to enter into ministry work. The second is Diana. She used to work in the UN. She also is, into ministry work. And we've been working together for a long time, for about it's almost 2 years now. And we've been doing health seminars, we've been doing health expos with corporates, with one-on-one, because our backgrounds give us that wonderful blend and also flexibility to meet different needs, health, spiritual needs as well. So our long-term plan actually now is in setting up a lifestyle center. So that's the end goal, and that's what I would like to call my life work, to create a place where people can receive both physical and spiritual healing. And by God's grace, that's what all these efforts are working towards. Yes.
Training workers.
Exactly. Training, teaching, educating, because as much as we have Bible work, they need practical work. So we want to do small industries, whether it's in carpentry, sewing, Kaleche is a good sewer, cooking, Dana is a good cook. My mom's also a good cook. I don't know what I'm good at, but I'm trying to learn different things.
Logistics, maybe.
Probably logistics, but anything my hands find to do, I do it. I try and do it to the glory of God by God's grace. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've told me about 3 team members so far. That's
Okay.
Luki,
Yes. Now the other team
Diana,
members. Now we have Moses. How did I meet Moses? I met him in church. He's actually still in university. He's a young man who loves the Lord, who's very zealous. He's been a wonderful asset to the team. I thank God for him. We have Migok. He's overly zealous, always doing Bible studies. He's very, very forward-thinking. We have you, of course, Karen. Your medical skills, your medical background has been a very good asset. And I've managed to interact with them in different levels, but mostly in God's work. And that's what has actually brought us all together, our desire to serve God in any capacity. So, while I was praying for God to bless me with a team, obviously there were the first 2 names that came, but God opened the way for all of you as well to join. Even Lou coming all the way from Tennessee, paying his own ticket to come to Kenya, that was a wonderful blessing. It just shows, faith is shown through works. as much as it's not dependent on works, but that's what manifests our love for souls. Yeah.
So 2 weeks down the line,
Yes.
do you feel like the goals that you may have had in mind or the expectations that you had for this mission have been achieved? And what challenges have been there so far?
My biggest concern was actually security. I don't know, we've been sleeping with the refugees. There is exposure to all sorts of things, but the love that we've experienced from the community has just, it's something beyond what I could ever imagine. The first day we came here, we had our feet washed. They've been pleading for us to give us our laundry to wash. They've been cleaning our rooms. With the little they have, they've shown so much love. They've shown Christ's love actually towards us with little or no words. Though there's a language barrier, their actions have clearly demonstrated the love for Christ that they have. Because, you know, we can't love Christ if we can't even, or if we don't even love our fellow, you know, human beings or neighbors. So I had no expectations, but from the experience, it's been, I couldn't even have imagined this experience,
What about the classes that you set up and the schedule that you set up?
Okay, so I gave most of the classes to my friends with a reason. One of the skills I've been teaching myself is video editing. So I actually bought a camera for this and some, you know, video editing equipment for this occasion. So I've been the cameraman most of the time, so I've been behind the scenes. I've been working behind the scenes to organize the schedule, of course. But I was lined up to teach hydrotherapy, basically the use of water for treatments, which is one of my favorite classes, and the use of charcoal. I've done a few Bible classes, one or two, but I've been content allowing my team members to take control of everything so that they could also have an experience of what I've experienced in the past in doing mission work in such an environment.
Okay. So as you finish, is there any particular experience that has stood out for you throughout this mission experience? Looking back?
This mission experience over the 2 weeks.
Anything you're particularly grateful for? Or anything that was a challenge? Something that stood out?
One thing that comes to mind is the desire that all of us have to be flexible. One of the most key things, especially when serving in different environments, your ability to adapt to the conditions. We're not staying in Hilton Hotel or anything. We're staying in a madhouse. But the love the people has made that place even better than anything that you can pay for.
True.
The fellowship has been wonderful. The desire for people to learn more Bible truths. The thirst for knowledge in this place is incredible. Even Migok requested if we could extend his stay. So the experience has been, for me, has been life-changing, let me just say. The humility of the people, the humility shown by my team members, and the love that they have for God. Because obviously it's not me, but it could have been anyone asking them to go to Kakuma. They probably would have agreed, but God's work is not dependent on any man, but God still needs his people in order to get his work moving forward. So my experience here has just been more of my need for Christ, my need to be more humble, to be more caring. You know, when you're sharing a house with 8 people, it needs patience.
It does.
You know, when you're sharing a bed with you know, my brother here, Moses, you know, you need to cultivate that attitude of sharing and of letting your brother go first, even if it pains you, you know. So it's been a blessing, a good character builder for me. Yes, yeah.
So thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you.
For the interview and for your time.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you. God bless.